Coming up on Missouri Economy Today, we'll introduce you to a Clayton company that is a leader in the next generation of networking security solutions. Find out how a Springfield company is seeing profits grow out of a fast-growing category of municipal solid waste. And finally, Research Director Dr. Marty Remedy takes a look at the value of Missouri's waterways. Welcome to Missouri Economy Today. I'm Julie Peterson. This public affairs program presents you with some of the latest economic development happenings from around the state. A Clayton firm is preparing to take to market a new technology that combines computer hardware and software to create the industry's first true wire speed content filter. Global Velocity is an innovator in next-generation security solutions.
Global Velocity is a Missouri-based information technology startup. We are developing and commercializing a very compelling set of intellectual property in the area of next-generation computer networks. Specifically, we are initially focusing on information security and building a device that will help network operators see the traffic that's traveling across their network and assure that their information security policy is being adhered to electronically.
According to a Forrester research report, more than 1 in 5 outgoing emails contain content that pose a legal, financial, or regulatory risk. This finding tells us that identifying and controlling today's internet applications is the first step towards safeguarding data. Global Velocity's Content Control Appliance provides an innovative, network-based solution for controlling applications and their access to the internet.
What we first do is we detect the applications that are running on your network. So if there is an unauthorized application running on your network that was placed there by a hacker, then we will detect the operation of that application on your network and give you an opportunity to decide what to do about it. You can decide that it shouldn't operate and you can stop it. You can watch it for a while and monitor its behavior to see what they're trying to accomplish. And then if there is information of interest, digital information traveling across that network within that application, we can detect that information also in motion and determine whether or not it's traveling in accordance with your information security policies.
As a truly homegrown Missouri startup company, Global Velocity looks to the future with great anticipation. The company was recently awarded with the Governor's Technology Company of the Year Award.
For startup businesses that are interested in developing a product to sell into a market, I don't believe you can do it without some sort of an edge, competitively. So you have to have some sort of feature or capability that someone else doesn't have. And in order to have that, you have to have something that is essentially protectable, and most of that comes out of universities. So we are blessed here in Missouri with many academic institutions that support compelling research and information technology, and I just think we're very lucky in that regard, and I don't believe you can have a company like Global Velocity here without that.
According to the Environmental Protection Agency, of the 2.25 million tons of TVs, cell phones, and computer products that Americans disposed of in 2006 and 2007, only 18% was collected for recycling, leaving 82% to be thrown in landfills. While electronics make up a relatively small part of our waste, it is one of the fastest growing sectors of the waste stream. Besides taking up valuable space, e-waste that ends up in landfills has a more negative impact on the environment than other, more organic waste. To help combat this trend, the Computer Recycling Center began operation in Springfield over 7 years ago.
The founder, Ken Reese, I think I always tell people had enough forethought to really see the future with the electronic waste. Computers were in their heyday at that time, and he saw a tremendous amount of new products coming out on a regular basis. Being an environmentalist, he was wondering really how all of that was going to be taken care of during their time frame after they were used, their death, shall we say. So he came and put together a plan that would enable him to have a business to recycle electronics before it was really very fashionable to do that, and also gave him the ability to have a tremendous growth potential, and that's what he was looking for in a new business.
As a state-certified facility, the Computer Recycling Center accepts electronic equipment of all types from individuals and businesses. The 12 employees demanufacture all of the e-waste on site and provide certificates of destruction for any e-waste upon request.
We're an end-of-life facility. Everything that we take in is disassembled. And one of our concerns has always been hard drives because they have data on them that a lot of people are concerned about getting out, and there's a lot of data theft going on, as we all know today. The purchase of our new shredder has just really been a tremendous advantage to our company. We shred 100% of all hard drives, and when I say I shred them, it goes through a metal shredder that virtually makes the pieces approximately a ½ inch to 1 inch in size. Completely eliminates any possibility of getting any data off of any of those hard drives.
The Computer Recycling Center processes over 58 tons of e-waste a month, which the company estimates will double over the next 2 years. E-recycling is not only helping to reduce the amount of solid waste filling our landfills, it is providing much-needed jobs and a profitable small business to the Springfield area.
We really accept virtually all types of electronic waste, and that would include certainly computers and all the components that go with it, the mice, the keyboards, scanners, printers, monitors, PCs. We also will recycle virtually any type of electronics that would be used in TVs, stereos, clocks, radios, virtually anything you can think about. Some appliances, we now accept microwaves and small appliances like that. Probably in the very near future we will add many other products too, and we're looking for really any type of electronic product that could be recycled, kept out of the landfill, and the scrap products reused for new products down the line.
Missouri is situated at the crossroads of America, making the Show Me State a true center for business opportunity and a transportation and logistics leader. Our state possesses both the infrastructure and skill to move goods by highway, rail, pipeline, air, and river. In this segment, Dr. Marty Remedy tells us more about river transport and how our state's public ports are capitalizing on Missouri's more than 1,000 miles of navigable waterways.
Both the Mississippi and Missouri rivers have been instrumental in defining the culture, lore, and economic progress of our state. These two rivers flow through or by 39 Missouri counties, with another 44 counties being close enough to benefit from these waterways. This makes the Mississippi and Missouri rivers an available asset to almost 70% of Missouri's population, like this ferry service I'm on that crosses the Missouri River at Glasgow. Offering over 1,000 miles of navigable waterways within the state for waterborne commerce is another way these rivers are being put to good use. Each year, Missouri's waterways carry millions of tons of cargo worth billions of dollars. Waterways have the advantage of being a cost-effective, fuel-efficient, and safe way to transport goods into and out of Missouri. One full standard barge tow, commonly seen in the Missouri and Mississippi rivers, carries the equivalent of 900 semi-trucks worth of goods, or the same as 225 rail cars. Think about it this way. If you had a fleet of trucks carrying the same amount of cargo as just one of these barge tows, that convoy of trucks would stretch for miles along the highway and require thousands of more gallons of gas to make the trip. It is clear to see why waterways are an attractive option for shipping, especially when moving very large quantities and very heavy ones. Farm products, big equipment, coal, fuels, rocks, and steel are common loads, and with the use of containers, Other products can gain the cost benefits of shipping by waterway as well. In Missouri, there are over 200 ports lining our major rivers.
We have a tremendous natural asset, as I'm sure you know, with our inland waterway system, and it's like having a free highway. I mean, there are no potholes out there to take care of. We get this river that's provided and maintained by the federal government, and all we really have to do is tap into it. And with the ports being such an efficient way to transport goods, at MoDOT we do three basic things in waterways. We provide operating assistance for 2 public ferry boat operations, both down in southeast Missouri. We provide port operating assistance to the 14 port authorities for marketing, helping with some salaries, helping them keep the lights on, those types of things. And then our primary bread and butter is our port capital program. That's the providing state funds and administering some federal funds to make some of those needed port improvements at the port authorities. To the extent that we can have a more efficient waterway system and rail system and even airport systems, it means less trucks on the highway or doing that. And people kind of like the aspect of not having as many trucks on the road. But, you know, that's a good thing, too, because that's also an indicator of economic growth and activity. I think it's about having a total transportation system and not relying on any one mode. And that's kind of what MoDOT's about, and multimodal division specifically. Diversifying and taking advantage of the different opportunities that each one of the modes brings to that. I mean, moving freight or moving people is not necessarily about, I mean, it's really about getting from point A to B in the most efficient manner, whatever mode you might use and whatever connections you might use. So that's where I kind of view our role.
One of our state's important and growing port facilities is the Southeast Missouri Regional Port Authority, or Semo Port, located in Scott City, Missouri, near Cape Girardeau. Semo Port is on the Mississippi River, midway between St. Louis and Memphis, Tennessee. Its 1,800-foot slackwater harbor is located just upstream from the Ohio River and downstream from the Illinois and Missouri rivers, giving this location a tremendous geographic advantage. Other great advantages of this port are its new and modern facilities, designed to operate even during times of high floods, and the fact that Semo Port has ready access to all 5 modes of transportation: river, rail, highway, pipeline, and air. It is little wonder then that this port continues to see solid economic growth.
The Port Authority provides the basic infrastructure. The companies provide some of the terminal facilities, different buildings, docks, warehouses, cranes, equipment. For example, the Port Authority began with taxpayer investment here through a local quarter-cent sales tax of $7.3 million. That tax sunset in 1990. Since that time, we've managed through different grants from state, federal agencies, and reinvestment of our own earnings to come to the point where we have $19 million in public investment here at the Port Authority. If you look at the other side, there's $51 million of private investment. That's the different companies that operate here. The general cargo dock, the main cargo dock, Girardeau Stevedores, we built a $2 million dock, but then they have 3 or 4 different warehouses, office, a truck scale, a garage, a fleet of trucks, front loaders, cranes, and so forth. So that's what the private companies bring to the table. 2 of the grain elevators, the fertilizer distributor, the wood chip mill, those all represent significant private sector investments. We, as I said, have the dock. We have a company that operates it, private sector, but it's a public terminal available to anyone that needs to move product in and out by barge. Our railroad serves a variety of customers, and we have team tracks where if you do not have your own private spur track, you can come down here and load and unload, which, as I mentioned, 3 of the companies that handle ethanol are doing. We've got a couple of other customers that use the team tracks to transfer from rail to truck.
Semo Port's harbor and dock became operational in 1990, and the difference in economic activity between then and now is plain to see. Girardeau Stevedores is the company that handles general cargo and special shipments from the public terminal facility, and on any given day you might see steel beams, metal coils, coal, lumber, fertilizer, construction equipment, and assorted items and containers moving in and out. You will certainly see a lot of grain and farm products heading out from the port, an outgrowth of the Mississippi River remaining the primary link between Midwest farmers and world markets. Consolidated Grain and Barge operates a terminal here with a 350,000 bushel elevator, complete with a conveyor belt that can load barges at 40,000 bushels per hour, or roughly 1,200 tons per hour. A strategic investment by the Port Authority in a switching railroad to connect the main lines of the Union Pacific and Burlington Northern Santa Fe railroads, along with having additional land to use for more business sites, positions Semo Port well for the future.
With this year's capital improvement funding from MoDOT, which came through the state legislature, we are upgrading our railroad. In previous years, we've upgraded other parts of the port, streets, freight handling facilities, and so forth. This year, we needed to upgrade the railroad, and that includes roughly $300,000 to improve timber trestles on our 6-mile railroad line, and we're going to do an extensive upgrade of the track itself. What we had previously, what we have today is good for a small volume, 10-mile-an-hour operation. But to move into the future and to be able to handle heavier volumes, possibly unit trains, then we need to have a stronger track structure. What we had was basically a leftover from a major railroad that no longer wanted it. We've kept it in good shape. We've maintained it for what it was, but it needs to be improved, and that's what we're going to do. We'll be replacing approximately 20% of the railroad ties that are under the rail, doing some other big improvements to let us safely handle heavier volumes. Some of that would be in terms of cement. There's discussion that the plant here might ship more by rail. That could possibly double or triple our number of cars that we handle. We're seeing more and more ethanol coming in, and while the car counts are relatively small, ethanol is still a hazardous commodity in terms of transportation. It's one that we handle very safely. It's worked well for us. But there again, that's another reason why you want to have the best possible track you can afford within reason, looking at economics. But we're very pleased to be able to do this upgrade, and that will set us up for the future for continued growth.
Semo Milling is one tenant taking advantage of all that Semo Port has to offer, operating this 4-story, state-of-the-art dry corn mill behind me. This facility produces corn meal, corn flour, and does other types of corn processing that is then used in making foods, like cake mixes, cereal, and beer, to name a few. Semo Milling has a straightforward goal when it comes to operating their business. They want to be the best milling company in the world, offering the highest quality and most consistent product in the industry. And they believe Southeast Missouri, and particularly their location at Semo Port, affords them the opportunity to do just that.
We felt that this particular area, in terms of the raw product, the corn input, which we needed, was a good area to put into, to put our plant in. I think the key there then was, once we decided that this was the area that we wanted to put a facility in, it became a question of which was the best specific location within the area. We had made a decision that we wanted to be in a location where we could access barge, rail, and truck. And in this case, we're sitting in a port that avails us of all those different options. We have the Mississippi River flowing right by our door. We have a slackwater harbor. We have an interstate only 4 miles away with a good road coming into the port itself. We've got 2 major railroads, the BN and the UP, that service the port. that many of our customers are on those lines, so we felt that when we looked at kind of the entire range of needs that we needed to be a success in this business, that geographically this was the place to be.
At this site, Semo Milling stores corn in a 40-foot diameter, 123-foot tall concrete tank that holds up to 125,000 bushels. The corn makes its way from here into the milling facility, where it is cleaned, tempered, and degerminated, which separates the kernel into its various parts, bran, endosperm, and germ. Each of these parts has potential commercial uses. Then comes more separation, grinding, and sifting into a variety of smaller grits, meals, and flours. One thing is for sure, there is a whole lot of shaking going on in this plant. An interesting and important aspect of Semo Milling's operation is the sophisticated statistical tools and continuous improvement efforts they use to maintain the very highest quality. Corn milling is an age-old process, but Semo Milling has implemented a decidedly modern management system to differentiate itself from competitors with superior quality, competitive products, and great service for customers.
Looking to the future, we would really like to get to the point where we could maybe double our size. We think that the business is there. The whole transportation side of this business is something that is more and more important in terms of how close you are to your customer. And we think that we're in a situation where we're close to some of our major customers. We'd like to increase our volume in terms of what our production capacity is. I think in addition, there's a lot going on in agriculture in terms of product improvement and new products coming on board, and I think there's a lot of things with corn that we can do that we're thinking about in the future.
Missouri has 14 public port authorities, including Semo Port, situated at different points along the Mississippi and Missouri rivers. Public port authorities are unique entities working to develop land, assist businesses, and build the economy of entire regions while providing water-related and other intermodal transportation services for public commercial use. Each of these authorities operates one or more public terminals, providing a range of cargo transfers and storage, as well as land for industrial development. Offering these unique types of waterway-related services, along with land, makes Missouri's public ports tremendous assets for economic development. And there, to help maximize the value and success of these authorities, is the Waterways Unit within the Missouri Department of Transportation. This unit strives to make low-cost, waterborne transportation available to businesses and to build the capacity of our state's public port authorities with the many services it offers.
Public port authorities are authorized through state statute. They make application to the Department of Transportation, and they're authorized in that way. A public port authority is a political subdivision of the state, much like a city or a county. Other than technical assistance, we do have a couple of financial programs that they can apply for. The first one is the Administrative Grant Program, and it provides operating funds for the ports. It will help ports that are just getting started to hire personnel, open an office, and that type of thing. And then there's the capital program that they can apply for that will help with infrastructure needs at the facilities. This last year we finally did get some capital improvement funds, a very good amount to get started with the port authorities. We got $6.65 million, and we're doing several projects at port authorities around the state with that money. And a lot of those address the multimodal aspect as far as rail connection to the port and for highways.
Existing operations at Semo Port added an estimated $46 million to Missouri's economy last year. Industries that operate within the port's 500 acres directly employ nearly 300 people, and this is expected to expand. That direct employment leads to spin-off jobs and additional benefits that are felt throughout the region's economy, as these port-centered industries purchase goods and services from surrounding communities. And, in addition, the port remains a ready site, with the infrastructure all in place to attract further industry and promote additional commerce to keep increasing its multiplier effect. As Semo Port demonstrates, our state's public ports provide great economic development potential and significant economic returns for our riverside regions in Missouri.
Really, a port is basically an industrial park that's located next to the river. So I think it is a lot about jobs, especially as our economy seems to be moving more towards transportation logistics. So I think it's a natural that from the port perspective, they don't really generate a huge amount of jobs as far as warehousing, but the economic impact and how it filters to the whole area in allowing a way to transport in like fertilizer and transport out different materials. So it's very much ingrained. I mean, it's just a huge economic generators. I don't have the specifics off the top of my head, but I think you really can't say ports without saying economic development. They're just so ingrained together.
Missouri is situated at the crossroads of America, making the Show Me State a true center for business opportunity and a transportation and logistics leader. Within a day's drive, you will find over 40% of the U.S. population, households, effective buying income, and total manufacturing establishments. This easy access to markets has equipped our state over the years with the infrastructure and skills to move goods by all means: highway, rail, pipeline, air, and river. Missouri has more than 1,000 miles of navigable waterways, an exceptional transportation asset that provides farmers and businesses a way to transport large amounts of material at very low costs. And with our state's public port authorities, we are working toward full use of Missouri's waterways to advance the economies of our riverside communities in the process as well. Until next time, I am Marty Romiti for Missouri Economy Today.
The remainder of 2008 looks to be full of opportunities for many Missourians, and the Department of Economic Development looks forward to collaborating with communities and organizations to assist them with creating more growth in our state. To learn more about any of the stories we presented today, please contact the Missouri Department of Economic Development by visiting the website at www.ded.mo.gov. That wraps up this edition of Missouri Economy Today. Please join us again next month for more on economic development efforts in Missouri. I'm Julie Peterson. Thanks for watching.